Friday. It is July 1st. In New York. 12:30 afternoon. Fred is here. It is very hot. It's gonna hit like low 90s today, which I guess to some of you living in hot hell deserts is nothing, but feeling very enervated today. I have very low energy. Also been feeling quite a bit of anxiety because of work, I think, which is really stupid. But I guess I still don't have the ability to not have anxiety over work, despite how much of a farce it has become in my perspective. But here we are. I was gonna say I've been not good about self-care, but I think I'm gonna stop saying that. Because I think that puts more onus and blame and guilt and shame on me for not taking better care of myself, as if there were a golden standard of taking care of yourself. I think at every given moment, we make the decisions that we can to get to the next moment, and even though it may not measure up to our idea of what we should be doing, I think that is, unfortunately, the best that we can do at any given moment. So I will just say that I've decided to do a face mask today because it's been a while, and I've been staring at my face in the mirror quite a lot lately. And I just look really tired. I look really tired. My skin looks really tired. I am really tired. So it makes sense that my body looks tired. But what is there to do than to live it? Hello, Suzuku. So we're just gonna make a little clay mask. You've seen me do this before, but it's been a while, and today we're just gonna go with all of the Spanish clay that I bought on our trip pre-pandemic. I'm gonna do a combination oily skin one and a sensitive and reactive clay together, mishmash them, slap it on my face, let it set until I look horrendous, and then we'll rinse it off. In the meantime, Fred will just continue to stare at us. Hello, Brazil. Oh my gosh, you took a day off. Hell fucking yeah. Welcome to the day off. Take more days off if you guys can financially afford it, because you probably need it. So a little bit of green, a little bit of pink. Korea, what up, what up? It is way past your bedtime. Are you guys on the same time zone as China? Are you half past midnight right now? This is the headband that I wore during the peanut butter taste test, which was shot last March. So I don't think I've washed it, and it's just been sitting in my closet. I should probably wash it. I'm not gonna wash it. Let's just be honest with ourselves. It is too freaking hot in Queens today. I went out and I was like, this sucks. Does America have a 4-day weekend this week? Some of us do. I do. I have today off. I have Monday off. Did you know that when I taught in China for a year, they make you make up national holiday breaks? Like, say the national holiday fell on a Monday, they'll give you Monday off, but then they'll make you work the Saturday after. We weird world, huh? Is this ASMR? I have no idea. I have no idea. Yeah, what is the point? No point. No point. Happy 4th, y'all. We all need a whole body haul, I think. That's hilarious. It won't be too long before we have technology where we just like go into a body shop and it's literally a body shop and they just take off parts of you and put on new parts. And then you'll come back refreshed. A whole new person. Literally. I've been breaking out a lot. And it kind of really sucks to have to do videos all the time for work. Because sometimes you just don't feel like doing it. And you don't feel like staring at yourself and your pimples. But you do it. Because it's work. Could be worse. Could always be worse. I want a new hip joint. I could take new knees too, but my hip hurts a lot. Also, I don't know what happened, but the side of my foot, like this part of my foot, feels like I either slammed it against something or dropped a really heavy weight on it, but it's been feeling like it's been bruised for a very long time, like at least 2 weeks now, and I have no idea what I did to it, and I don't see a visible bruise, so I have a feeling that my body is just slowly like accelerating its way to dying. And I was having some shower thoughts about how at 28 I pulled my back cleaning my bathtub. Not vigorously, I just turned 4 inches to the left and like pulled something, and then I couldn't move my back for the next 2 weeks. And then I was like, I guess this is what getting old means. And now that I'm turning 33 this year, I feel like I've grown acclimated to living with new body pains. Before, I used to freak out because I was like operating under the impression of, well, I'm in my 20s. This should be the prime of my physical condition. I shouldn't be having all of these problems. But now that I'm fully in my 30s, I'm just like, oh yeah, of course that part hurts today. I don't even need to know why. It's because I'm dying and my body's just decrepit now. So I was having the shower thought that like it's kind of not that surprising that my mom was in such a state that she didn't really, I don't think she couldn't have, but she didn't really take care of herself to the extent that I wanted her to, because you kind of just normalize feeling like shit in this world. Not just because you're aging, but definitely part of it. You normalize feeling like shit because the world is just filled with so much shit, right? Like, another black dude got shot by how many police officers today with like 60 bullets in him? Damn, that's where my tax money's going? So, it makes sense. I was shocked when my mom died, but the more I think about it, the more sense it makes. There's so much to put up with every day, y'all. So much. It's a lot. And then we're just supposed to like carry on. Normalize it. so we can continue functioning in the shit. Vitamin check. Let's say hi to Freddie. Hello, Freddie. How's life? What do you think of our world? Freddie. You okay there, buddy? I think he's feeling a lack of motivation today as well. You don't want to be on camera? Are you sure? Wow, you really don't want to be on camera. Okay, well, maybe I should respect that. Maybe I should just not put him on camera. You don't want to be on camera? Oh, okay. All right, okay. He bit me. He's like, stop. Okay, Frankie. All right, let's take vitamins and let's make myself some food. I don't really feel like cooking, so we might just make a smoothie is what I'm thinking. But it's a pretty chill day aside from my hot takes. Right, Fred? What was I doing? Oh, vitamins. Losing it. Bye, Fred. He has left us. He has had enough of this shit. I am supposed to shoot a TikTok. Oh my god, my face. In the next 2 weeks. Next week, I somehow got myself into a 2-day work week with 4 deadlines. I can push the assignments. Technically. But I kind of don't want to. I mean, I think taking your meds and your vitamins every day is a feat to be acknowledged for sure. Let's see what we got for our smoothie. Got a full freezer. I bought this cantaloupe for work, and it's so tasteless. So I froze it, hoping that it'll give the smoothie maybe some icy consistency. But we'll probably put some of bananas in there too. I also have some blackberries I should use up. Let's do that. This sounds good. To those who care, Grandma hates the dumplings that I made, and then Aaron tasted one yesterday and he was like, yeah, it's dry. And I was like, what do you mean dry? And it's because I used chicken breast. So note to self, never ever ever use chicken breast in dumplings. It just doesn't work. But we'll figure out a way to feed them to Aaron anyway. Grandma is very unsatisfied with my manto as well. She said it tasted spoiled today, and I was like, there's no way, because I froze them immediately after steaming, and then I re-steamed it for you just this morning. So she was like, oh, then you must not have used enough like baking soda to offset. And I was like, oh, she probably thinks it means it's too acidic, probably because I used rye flour, which gives off more of an acidic taste. And then Aaron was the one who said it didn't have enough developed flavor, so I let a chunk of the dough kind of ferment at room temperature. So probably to Grandma's palate, that was too much flavor. So I feel like a failure of a granddaughter this week. The only thing she wants to eat is the youtiao, but when I give her the youtiao and I come back the next day with more, she still has yesterday's youtiao, and she promises me she's gonna finish it, but she's had the same youtiao for 2 days now, and she keeps telling me to bring her more, and I'm just like, can you eat them first? But anyway, that's my grandma rant. Happy Canada Day. Well, melon is a whole family of fruit, and cantaloupe is a particular melon, so cantaloupe is melon. Look, even my blackberries are patriotic. American blackberries. Discard sourdough starter. I always like to make crackers with it. I think it tastes amazing with everything seasoning. But you can do pancakes, cakes, whatever. What if we just do a blackberry cantaloupe thing? North American cantaloupe are actually muskmelons. Huh. I just have like a clay mask. True, it has to have a strong melon flavor when you smell it. Otherwise it's gonna be bad. And this one didn't. But I just truly needed one for work, so couldn't really be picky. probably should have chunked these smaller too. And obviously there's going to be a noise alert, so you've been warned. I mean, there are like cantaloupe soups. It's been paired with meats too. Nothing's impossible. You can do whatever you want. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, it's gonna be very seedy. So blackberries naturally have a lot of pectin, which is why you see it break so clean from the container. It's basically gelling so much on its own that it's just one cohesive mass. Isn't that cool? Smoothie bowl. My face is very tight. So I don't know what a real cantaloupe tastes like. Or it looks like even. If you're telling me my whole life has been a lie, I believe you. meant to wash my face. Okay. Well, what should we talk about then? Should we go bother Fred again? What you thinking about, Freddie? You want to smell my blackberry? Not interested? Would you recommend being a cat? What do you think about being a cat? Okay then. Do you want to come have a treat? Freddie, do you want a treat? You want a treat? Nope, he doesn't even want a treat. It's just that kind of day, folks. So I made a really stupid TikTok for work that was about how to rinse out a jar, and it got 1.9 million views for some reason. Most of the comments were freaking out about how people don't know how to wash a jar, and I was like, well, I guess this is what it takes to get the views. It's just like, do the most basic thing. I guess that's kind of what blows up on TikTok. I'm gonna put on some lotion. Fred's asleep. What do you guys do for breakouts? Although I think most of my breakouts are hormonal. I am eating a cantaloupe blackberry smoothie. Yeah, the TikTok is just on the Delish channel. It's literally just me putting soap and water into a jar, shaking it, and then rinsing it. And people flipped out because they were like, how do people not know how to wash a jar? I thought it was common knowledge. And I was like, yeah, but this is what the TikTok algorithm likes. It's not a hack. It's just, and you've seen it on these lives too before. It's just how most people who don't have a dishwasher clean jars. Shake, rinse. That's it. Blue tansy mask. That sounds expensive. That sounds like I'm not gonna buy it. You know, if a mask costs more than $2 per, chances are I'm not even gonna try it. Why your homemade jams get moldy after just a couple of days? Are you keeping it in the fridge? Are you double dipping? Did you wash your berries before you made them into jam? That sounds very suspicious. Just a couple of days sounds extremely fast for jam to develop mold. If you didn't can it and it's not vacuum sealed, you should be storing it in the fridge. Otherwise, the amount of sugar you have in there might not be enough to actually preserve it. Sugar is a preservative, but only in high enough ratios. Hi, Albania and Texas. How hot is Texas right now? I'm gonna guess it's hell. It does kind of look like acai, but it's just blackberries. The cheaper acai. Any tips on making homemade hot sauce? Don't do it, you will suffer. It's like the fumes are insane. You need to be prepared to hurt from your eyeballs to your nose to your throat. Alright, I'm kind of thinking that I need to start getting this TikTok footage just so that I don't like... Do you guys ever get that feeling of like the more you procrastinate on something, the more anxious you get? And then the harder it becomes to actually do that thing? And sometimes I'm just like, why do I keep torturing myself this way? I could just do it. But then doing it means giving in to capitalism. So you can't win either way. Can't win either way. Welcome to this world where you can only lose.
it would be much more intuitive to learn how to use a GorillaPod. It has not been. I don't know how all of the gimbals work. They are very confusing.
But I think I've also just gotten to that stage in life, y'all, where I'm very old and I don't do technology anymore. Like, you know how sometimes when you have a really outdated phone model and the manufacturer decides to not provide updates for it anymore? That's me. I don't have update software anymore. I just have a hardware that's getting older and a software that is growing more vulnerable to viruses and hacking and whatever nasty else is on the internet these days. That I've reached that point in my life. TikTok footage should only be about 30 seconds. That's what performs best. Hi, South of France. My favorite way of cooking tofu is, well, the first thought that came to mind, probably because I still miss my mom. My mom would always buy usually firm tofu, and then she would freeze it. And then after you freeze it and it turns hard as a rock, you defrost it, and then you squeeze out all the water, and then you're left with this like very porous structure. It almost looks like a sponge. And then she likes to chop it up into pieces and then throw it into something like a fish soup. So she would buy the offcuts of salmon or like a salmon head, and she would stew that salmon head with the tofu in it. And the tofu soaks up all of the flavor from the fish and the creamy, rich fattiness. And that's probably my favorite way to eat tofu. Tofu has no inherent flavor of its own for the most part. It has a very mild creaminess to it. Much like mozzarella and ricotta, relatively flavorless cheese, you just have to use it in flavorful contexts to make it really shine. So you have to know how to apply and imbue it with flavor in order to really bring out its utility. Oh my gosh, Lucy, that's hilarious. You have a very creative brain to make that word association. So this TikTok is supposed to be how to clean sticker grime off of jars. And I'm not gonna shoot the video for this. I'm just gonna get the footage of me peeling stuff first. So the first, I went to a test kitchen last week, or this week. God, when was it? This week? This week. And then I grabbed some jars. To do this. Sometimes you get lucky and it comes off clean.
what happens when it doesn't? I kind of like the feeling of working on an off day, because then I just feel like this is bonus content for me, and I don't have to have the rush of anxiety to complete it within the given work frame of all the 8 hours a day kind of thing. But then I realize that I'm just a sucker, right? I'm sorry, corn flour and taco seasoning as a label remover? That is such a TikTok thing. I'm gonna have to try. Is the corn flour corn starch or corn flour like US grits corn flour? Because the Brits call corn starch corn flour. It's very confusing. So the second method is if you have a mostly clean peel with spots of stickiness, I like to just use the tape itself, which still has that same kind of adhesive on it to kind of attract like with like, and that usually does the job. Alright, I'm gonna hope for one of these jars to not fucking peel. Maybe it'll be the sunny jar. Who knows? Maybe the one time that I actually need a sticker to not peel cleanly, it won't peel. Here we go. Residue. Hello, UK. Wow, I kind of want another smoothie. Why are they so addictive? It's just like liquid nutrition. Maybe we should do like a blackberry mask. Don't know what my neighbor's doing. This baking soda comes courtesy of Mom. Once again, thank you, Mom, for all that you have given us. I'm also very tempted to use Mom's wasabi oil that none of us really like to eat. Actually, I don't know where it went. Did Aaron chuck it? Oh no, it's here. This wasabi oil is so strong. Ugh. Oh, okay, girl. Okay. That was definitely too much oil. Oops. Let me spoon out a little bit. Sorry for the waste. So I use baking soda and oil, a paste of it. grandma always taught me that before you wash with soap, something involving onions, pepper, garlic, to rinse it out very, very well. Then use soap. Yeah. A lot of people say they use vinegar to clean jars that have smells. In my experience, it works. I also just don't have that much vinegar to spare. I don't care about the smells. If it smells like savory stuff, then I use it for savory stuff. If it doesn't, then I use it for whatever I want. Guys, this looks very pornographic. It looks like straight up jizz. Maybe this will be our next TikTok hit. Because it looks like jizz. I have to say, as far as social media platforms go, TikTok is whack. Laundry talk. Peach mango pie from Jollibee? Heck yeah. still have a lot of baking soda thing left over, so I might clean some other jars. It's rather different. What else we got? What else we got? Okay. This one came from Italy. We bought some honey. I've never torn the sticker off because I was like, oh, it's a souvenir, but it's probably time for it to go. Unfortunately, we probably should soak this. So we'll give that a soak. Other than that, we have 2 pieces of residue here. This is very therapeutic, honestly. Ooh, not when you're dripping oil everywhere, but otherwise, can be therapeutic. Oh my lord. Is anyone else really sick of cooking? I do feel like, so Delish has been freaking out because our traffic has been dipping, meaning not as many people go on our site anymore for recipes. And I just feel like everybody's kind of tired of cooking, you know? It's not really a matter of like what we're doing right or wrong. Just nobody really feels like cooking anymore. Even I don't feel like cooking anymore. we use baking soda and oil. Should I make another smoothie? I really want one. I think a lot of me wants another smoothie because it's just so fucking hot right now. Okay. I have a question for you guys. How many of you have met up with each other in real life? I know there have been like a couple of meetups. I just don't know how many. Let's make me a banana protein thingy with some blackberries. I was at, last weekend I went to Jones Beach. I took the LIR to Mineola, and then my cousin drove me to the beach. Definitely don't freeze your bananas like I do. It's always a pain in the butt. Freeze it in a single layer. Do as I say, not as I do. The sun also just came out. It's freaking hot. I'm gonna turn off all these lights. Oh. Hi, Philippines. There's quite a few viewers from the Philippines, but obviously I don't know which part. So it is possible to do like a Philippines meetup. You'll just have to coordinate. What was the first proper meal I cooked? Who the hell knows? I truly don't remember that kind of thing. I'm gonna rinse my jar off and then come back to the smoothie. I don't really eat proper meals, so I don't really cook proper meals. I also have personal issues with the idea of proper meals because I feel like it limits what can be proper meals and what can't be proper meals, and I'm just like, I don't need that dictation in my life. Yesterday who I haven't seen since probably a year ago. and she asked me if, I don't remember her exact words, but she asked me if I've like kind of calmed down from the grief in terms of it just not hitting so hard every day. And I definitely have. And I told her it probably took 5-6 months for me to get to a place where I'm not just like suddenly crying out of nowhere because I saw a piece of mail with my mom's name on it. Also a bummer is when I forwarded my mom's mail to my current address, it like triggered a whole set of like, oh, we think you're moving. So now let's send you all these offers in your dead mom's name to you. So I've been getting a lot of mail for my mom at my address for things like CVS discounts and Verizon. So I'm gonna have to be dealing with that for a while. I feel more at peace, I guess, with the grief as it is now. I feel my mom's remnants more in terms of like, remember how in middle school and high school church-going kids would wear the "What Would Jesus Do" bracelets? And I feel like a lot of these days I've kind of been functioning off of a "What would mom do" moment-to-moment thing, where I would be at the grocery store and I would be like, what vegetable would mom buy? And would mom tell me to buy more vegetables and eat more vegetables? And would mom actually spend $4 a pound on these sprouts? So it's a lot gentler, I would say. Not as abrasively missing her as it is just remembering her. Which can be same, but different. Probably should add some liquid to this to get it started a little bit. I don't really have liquid. Whoops. There goes the cherry. I have chicken broth. I'm not sure that would taste good in here though. Yeah. I will eat this cherry that fell out though. It's okay. Not too great. I'll just add a little bit of ice water. Come back to the Vitamix action. Sunburn's much better. I've forgotten about it at least. And just as I was making that smoothie, the sun has completely emerged from the shadows of the clouds, and it is not feeling great, y'all. And yes, I do have AC, but I really don't turn it on unless Aaron's home, because Aaron will always turn it on, and I'm just like, I just feel like it's somehow wrong for me to turn on the AC so that I could feel cooler while heating up the world even more. It just makes no sense. Anyone else? I am delighted. It smells like disgusting chocolate protein powder though, unfortunately. Nothing makes me happier than ice cold fruit thing on a 90+ day. I don't even like ice cream on hot days because it just feels like too much of sugar and fat. But like frozen fruit, always good. Protein powder tastes kind of nasty, but otherwise feels really good going down. Maybe we should treat Fred to some chicken soup. Cold chicken soup. I just spilled that all over the floor. Today is a spilling kind of day. Hi, Freddie. You heard your can? Did you smell the chicken? Yeah. Have some soup. Have some ice cold chicken soup. No, you don't want it? Do you want it or no? You don't want? That's not good enough for you? Brain freeze? Is it too cold? Hmm? How is it? Okay. Enjoy. The funny thing about Fred and air conditioning is that he actually goes out of the room when we have a fan going or an AC going. I find that he likes to sit on the bookshelf or in a corner rather than be in the AC room. So he's kind of like my child in that way, because I too feel like I can get stomach aches from sitting in air conditioning. Celsius. Hold while I convert that. That's 66 Fahrenheit. That's like a perfect day. Oh my God. I would not be able to handle a fan on such a 60-degree day. I can't tell you the number of fights Aaron and I have had over AC. Really clean, Freddie. Is it good soup? Did you like it? Yum! Look at that clean plate. Yeah, Freddie. Good job. Good job, Fredolino. Do you want to smell my shake? That's definitely poisonous to you. Yeah, you know. You know when it's not good for you. Does anyone else watch Julian Smith? He's like a comedian on YouTube, although he hasn't uploaded in quite a while. And I think a couple of months back, he started doing live streams. And I think he calls them anonymous lives. And basically the idea is that like anyone who's watching can call his hotline. And they just call him and talk about like some deep, dark shit sometimes, and he's listening and sometimes offers advice. I haven't watched one for longer than 10 minutes, but it's very interesting. The premise of it. Don't know if anyone else has thoughts. Yeah. I know aliens are not good for cats and dogs. That was just only chicken in the pot with water, no salt even.
He calls them Anonymous Live, and then he says, this is a anonymous listening circle where callers share about severe, difficult experiences and can be heard. Call to talk anonymously. International toll free. And it looks to be about 3 to 3.5 hours long, sometimes, most times. Just curious if any of you have watched or participated. I mean, we don't really talk about like severe, difficult experiences. It feels like he's kind of putting out a call for bad, deep, dark shit. I feel like we talk a little bit about everything, and then sometimes we wade into the deep, dark pool, but it's not like the premise. A cat who likes breadcrumbs. That's fascinating. I often do wonder, like, how much onion would kill a cat? Or what is the detriment of effects of eating these toxic things? So I don't know if any of you read or watched Into the Wild. And Chris McCandless obviously died because he misidentified some plants and just ate the wrong thing. But I've always wondered, like, what is the severity of toxicity when you eat things you're not supposed to? The channel about the call-in is Julian Smith. Here, I'll link it. This smoothie has caffeinated protein powder, bananas, and water, and residual blackberries. I usually keep the stock about 2 weeks. You can freeze it. Just keep smelling it. Obviously, if it smells off, it's probably not good. I think you would have to eat a whole bucket of apple seeds to die from cyanide poisoning, is what I've read. I don't know. So don't quote me on that. And don't go eating a whole bucket of apple seeds. Sounds like a very expensive way to die. This jar is really giving me trouble. hair game is on point today. Thank you. I really just took a shower and then did a face mask. And then I dried. Magic. Here's my hair now. I oddly feel like I'm applying makeup to the jar. You know how they dab with their little spongy tools? I don't even know what you call those things. Are you thinking of going deep and dark more often? You know, I'm a pretty deep person, and that can get very dark, but I don't think I'm by default deep and dark. I don't have a lot of really, really twisted thoughts. So I don't plan on going there. But you know, these lives are like very freeform and ever evolving, so it all depends on what direction you guys go in too. My building is only 4 floors, and there are no elevators. It is all stairs or the fire escape. Really awkward moment where I was walking back from the grocery store, and I passed by this girl, and she says, "Hey June," and I like look at her and I'm like, "I'm sorry, do I know you?" And she was like, "Yeah, I've said hi to you before." And I was like, "Oh, nice to see you again." But I think she just lives in the neighborhood, so only after I said bye to her did I remember that the first time I said hi to her was on a street corner when I was walking with Aaron somewhere, I think. And then I was like very sad that I didn't remember her in time. But that happened. And I feel like whenever I'm out with my friends and somebody comes up to say hi to me, they're always like, "Oh my God, you're a celebrity." And I'm like, I don't feel any different. But am I a celebrity? Is this what fame feels like? Just numb, fatigue? I feel like other people do better with the pretense of fame. It's only changed my life insofar as I've grown more confident of who
I can be, as opposed to always watching everything I say for fear of retribution or punishment. Not to say that, like, in our current culture I can't just get canceled at any moment's notice, but I think since Mom died, hardly anything feels like there would be anything of consequence that would affect me. And then my friend yesterday was asking me whether I would ever just do my own thing, which a lot of people have asked me about that, and I was like, I do my own thing. I don't have a whole ton of viewers for it, and I can't really make it like my main income. And I also have no desire to make it my main income, because when you create content for a living, you may not have a boss like I have now, but you become a slave nonetheless to the system. You have to play by these platforms' rules. YouTube always encourages you to upload regularly twice a week. It has to remain on topic to the channel to get into the algorithm. Instagram, I feel like, is punishing me. It keeps giving me these notifications that I should do reels, and every time that I click not now, I feel like my posts, I mean, it could just be that I'm putting out shitty posts, but I do feel like the number of likes on my posts get disproportionately lower every time I reject making reels. And I feel like, you know, it's, yeah, you get to be your own boss, but you're not really ever your own boss. The money has to come from somewhere. And I told my friend, you know, like, I have no problem baking bread for the rest of my life in a bakery somewhere. I would just prefer that we could have health insurance for everybody, so that I don't have to worry about going back to work in a restaurant and, you know, making just enough money to not qualify for Medicaid and not enough money to be able to afford anything under our current healthcare system. I have no problem being a nobody. I would probably prefer to be a nobody, because I think when you are somebody, people build you up to be more than you are in ways that you like and don't like, and it becomes overwhelming. And they also want you to represent communities of people who identify with you, and like, I would much rather just represent myself. That way I don't have to worry about misrepresenting any communities. I can only represent myself and misrepresent myself. Who wants that responsibility of representing other people? Oh man, I forgot his name. It was the first time I had ever watched him. He had a Netflix special. I watched this stand-up comedian who is a Korean adoptee. His parents are white. He's obviously Korean. And he's gay. And he spoke on this in one of his bits. It's just like, nobody likes for him to represent their communities, because like the gay community has a problem with the way he represents them, because he jokes a lot about like always being on drugs and always having a shit ton of sex. And then he talks about Asian communities not liking the way that he represents them. And who wants that pressure? Massachusetts? Interesting. That's good to know. Who wants to build a commune in Massachusetts? Yes, that's it. Joel Kim Booster. I liked his stand-up because it was very meta. He went into a lot of checking in with the audience and participating with them, not just in terms of incorporating them into like one-off bits, but kind of building a whole show around the idea of identity. His comedy, I would say the material can be overwhelmingly lowbrow in a way. And that's not a bad thing, it's just a category. But I feel like the structure of the show is very intellectual. Am I pushing P? What does that mean? Does it sound as crass as it sounds? What? Do I need to go to Urban Dictionary to find out what pushing P means? Answer us. We may just have to Google it, y'all. It's fine, I'll Google it. If it ends up installing malware into my computer, okay, Urban Dictionary says it's more than a couple of words or applying pressure. Pushin' P is a lifestyle, a whole way of living. If you spend your money on things that you wanted for time, you're pushing P. If you spend your parents' money on shit and flex it, you're not pushing P. Guys, I'm too old for slang. Apparently it just means buying something with your own money, cashing out, spending hard-earned money. I mean, aren't we all spending our own money? But also, my mom died, so obviously, unexpectedly, I have some of her money. I really don't. It's a very fraught thing that she left behind, because even when she was alive, she tried to give me gifts and gifts of money around the holidays, around my birthday, just randomly, and I've always turned them down. Didn't make sense to me. And now that she's gone, and knowing how hard she always saved her own money, it's very painful to have to hold this weight
this kind of accumulation of all her hopes and dreams for the future with a capital T and a capital F. So, am I pushing P? Sure, let's push it. A handful of people just got laid off by Hearst without any notice. It is illegal for Hearst to do this at a unionized workplace. They didn't give them any notice. They did not negotiate severance, all of which are illegal. So we do have a fundraising effort going on for those folks because they were just laid off without any notice, and who knows what their saving situation is like. It's just a shock to the system. And Zach, the editor of Budget Eats, who is a wonderful human being, has been collecting the funds through his personal Venmo because that was just like the easiest way to make the transaction. And yesterday something went on with my Venmo where it was like, please reconnect to your bank. You need to reconnect with your bank in order to make transactions. And so I sent Zach $100 for that fund, and then the page popped up again, so I was like, oh, it didn't go through. Let me do it again. And then I went back to my homepage and it was like, oh, I sent Zach $100 twice. And normally, I think, I would have been like, ah, shit. I wasn't planning on giving $200 away. And now I really feel sad. And I might even DM Zach to be like, hey, can you push back 100 and return it to me because it was a mistake? But yesterday when that happened, I was just like, it's only $100 to me. It could be, I don't know, much more to the people receiving it. And I think my whole mindset about my relationship to money changed when Mom died. It's a lot of mental calculation and metacognition to work through my relationship with money, with my body image, with my ideal world, and I feel like those are probably all very loaded subjects for a lot of people. But I think money has been a very toxic thing that's been taught to us as the basis of success in our society. And when I was talking with my friend yesterday about potentially branching out on my own and doing my own projects and being self-employed and this and that, I was like, you know, I don't want to do any of that because I don't want to be a slave to anybody else. I don't want to be a slave to a system. I don't want to be a slave to a platform, and I don't want to make it miserable for me. I enjoy making videos. I enjoy making my videos. I enjoy making my videos on my own time as I see fit, and that may change. And I want to be able to go with my changes rather than working against my changes to appease another system. And I think in the end, I realized after talking with her that like a lot of what my motivations in life sound like self-sabotage, only in the sense that we have been taught that we should strive for success at all costs. So for example, if June were to leave Delish and do her own thing, you would want her to be very successful. You would want her to get 1 million subs and endorsement deals, and you would want her to be loaded up with offers and money and connection because you think, and part of me thinks, that that is success, that that is financial security, and that financial security is what leads to happiness. The problem with the concept of money is that you can't ever quite be successful enough to not want more. The problem with the idea of success that you always have to be the king of the hill to be safe. But in order to participate in a system that requires you to compete, you are by default losing already. You are no longer playing by your own rules. And to some, that is a comfort because they don't have their own rules, they don't know their own rules, and they don't really have a desire for their own rules. So I'm reminded again by the person who was chatting with me, and after learning of my mom's death and the impact that it had on me, said her death was a gift to you. Like, that's your mom's gift. Which is super ironic because when mom was alive, I kept pushing away all her gifts to me. I never wanted to accept her gifts because I thought they were superfluous and they added material baggage to my life and emotional baggage because I felt the guilt of being a grown-ass woman still taking gifts and monetary things from her mom when it should be, especially from the Chinese culture, the other way around. I'm in my 30s, I should have been the one giving my mom money because it was time for me to repay my debt of sorts. So I guess what mom did, if we were to look at her death as a sort of gift, I guess what mom did is what Joe Biden can't get his ass together to do, probably because none of the Democratic Party's pawns want to do it, is student loan forgiveness. Because now that mom's dead, I guess I don't really have to pay her back for anything. Or rather, I can't. So I have always, from a conventional sense, committed self-sabotage. Not because I don't want myself to succeed, but because I don't want myself to succeed according to what society dictates success is. Because I think the way that society has defined success is actually the ultimate loss. The loss of self, the loss of being present, the loss of being a small speck of dust. And we wouldn't really fear being a small speck of dust if our society didn't grow a system in which we punish being specks of dust. So I don't know if any of you remember the Black Mirror episode. I think it was called 1 Million Merits. It's very applicable. All the episodes are. But per this conversation, that episode aligns perfectly. You work hard to get out of the system. You work hard to get your merits so you can succeed. So you don't have to be on the bike anymore. But really all you're doing is changing your bike out for another hamster wheel of sorts. And there is no real escape. So that's the painful part of being in a society. I wonder how many people realize you can't actually win this game? But yeah, that's what's been going through my head. The title of this live is I Feel Weird. I feel weird. Let's find out why. A couple of days ago when I was visiting my grandmother and Skyping my uncle, I think he asked me how I was doing and if I was tired, and I was like, you know, I don't really know what tired feels like anymore, because I think feeling exhausted has become a baseline. Emotionally tired, psychologically tired, physically tired. And I said to him, some days I wake up and I'm just already in a foul mood. Like I wake up angry or frustrated. I wake up fresh from sleep, stressed and anxious. And I told my uncle that I think those are the days on which my body feels entirely wasted. And that's the only signifier that I have anymore as a sort of inner alert that like, hey, something's wrong. So now I'm finally starting to learn at 32 that when you're angry, it might not be because of anything outside of you. Or rather, it may be because of things outside of you, but only because things that are outside of you are almost immediately internalized if you're aware of them. Because we are so permeable in our existence. But when I feel anger, it's not so much of somebody did something wrong, and we must fix it, or gosh, how can that be? But it's kind of the sense of knowing exactly what went wrong, and also knowing that it's going to keep going wrong, and also knowing that it really won't get much better. And my anger tends to be a tantrum against a pervasive feeling of eternal hopelessness. I see that K-Clock is talking about a no bueno manager, and I see Rabina saying, I thought other managers knew this, why are they not doing anything about him or her or them? And I see that reflected in my own workplace too. There is no meritocracy. It's a myth. Which is another reason why I don't believe in societal's definition of success. It's because our definition of success, the way that society has taught us, is based on you being so good that you earn success. But I very much see that is not the case. There are a lot of incompetent people in high places. And even when others see it, acknowledge it, communally talk about it, there are very few actions leading to change. I see it in our government. I see it in my workplace. I see it probably everywhere. If I look hard enough, we can see it. So, I think my self-sabotage is a form of self-preservation. It's my inner spidey sense, if you will, that all is not right in this fairy tale, and that you really don't want to marry that prince. Small victories. I feel really proud of myself this week for starting to finally use the Glossier berrybalm.com that I bought pre-pandemic. And when I bought it, it was like a pack of 3 for like a slight discount, and I was like, what a great deal. It's never gonna go on sale again. And I had always been saving it to like put it on when I'm going out for special occasions because it's fucking expensive. And then this week I found it in one of my coat pockets that I haven't worn in a long time, and I was like, you know what? It's time to just start using shit. So am I pushing P? You betcha I am. A good boss is hard to come by, for sure. So if you have one, stick with it, I guess, if all other conditions are not terrible. Okay, y'all, we've hit the 2-hour mark. I've done my little cry, I've done my little noise, I've given you a little bit of Fred. I think I'm gonna spend a couple of hours trying to edit some more footage. Freddie, are you dying? Do you want the fan on? Here, let me put on the fan. Do you have any words of advice for folks this lovely long weekend? Would you like to tell them to
not blow their fingers or eyeballs out with fireworks, please, and be wise and make smart choices. You can do drugs, just not too much, and probably not meth. Like, don't do meth. Yeah, I know. You want a little stretchy stretch? Hmm? Boop boop. Boop boop. And let's keep pushing P. I also talked about this with my friend yesterday, about how you earn money to spend it. Again, one of Mom's last recurring advice for me was that money isn't money until you spend it. So if you are guilty of being a mom and not spending your money because you keep saving it for the future, maybe take some time this weekend and think about if there's one thing that you've been wanting for a long time. Maybe not like a car. Cars are pretty expensive, but like something cheaper than a car, if you wanted it for a long time and you have the funds for it, maybe just treat yourself a little bit. Because like, what if you do end up dying next week? Then what? Then what? And, you know, just stare into Fred's lovely being. Let me get that for you, bud. Yeah. Yeah. Do you agree, Freddie? Drugs okay for the most part, just no meth? Probably no heroin either. You know, I guess, is cocaine coming back into vogue? I would say no to cocaine too. It seems like, I feel like there are better drugs out there that make you feel less shitty coming down. Not speaking from experience. But you know. What's your favorite drug, Fred? Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Well, wish the good people a happy day. Okay. You still good, bud? Oops. Stay hydrated. Drink some chicken soup. Chilled. And be cute. Like Fred. Just be Fred, okay?